It is September when you're watching this, which is absolutely crazy, bizarre, bananas, fruit salad behavior. Welcome to a monthly wrap up. So this is gonna be the new format for the monthly wrap ups because I was realizing like the only videos that I do on my channel about books are just like the monthly reading. This is not a book, like we don't, like that's not what we're doing here. And I do love to talk about books and I'm like, writers like to read, the dots connect, but I feel like instead of just doing like, here's an in-depth rundown of all the books I read, just kind of doing a general wrap up. I will just say shamelessly that this is like fully copied from many other YouTubers who do monthly wrap ups, specifically Lindsay Puckett, who I discovered this month. The way I had not discovered this previously and like now I've just like been consumed by Lindsay's channel and it's the best kind of consumption. Just like a quick little wrap up of like all the different areas of life, including writing, including reading. Catch us all up. Where are we at, you know? In August, my main writing project was outlining. That's what it was. I outlined a new book for NaNoWriMo, which now that it's September, NaNoWriMo seems so close. But I feel I have a good outline going into it, which is exciting. And it is an adult thriller, romance. Are we shocked? This is all I seem to write. I will say it has elements of like a crime thriller, sort of. What other writing thing I've been doing is trying to figure out a title for my book. Right now I call that one Project Groove, just internally in my own mind, but it needs a title and I am so bad at titling. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. They're all so bad. They're so bad. I can come up with like so many fantasy titles just like boom, shakalaka, like did that in a second. Thriller titles, they all sound so cheesy. It'll be like, The Blood Death. Like, just like so cheesy and bad. So really working on that, really struggling with the titling. That's the writing update. I'll also do a querying update too. So in August, I got 3 rejections and I sent out, I believe, 3 queries. So I'm querying a book called Near the End of June. It is a YA college age thriller, which I think is part of the problem because YA in college, it's one of those no zones where it's like the characters are too young to, or too old to be in YA, but the story is YA, you know? Like if I were to do it again, I would age it down to like a boarding school and high school. Like I'm trusting my past self in that like, yes, it was good enough to query, but my current self is like, yeah, we can do better. So I read 17 books this month. Don't ask me how, I don't know. I don't know. I read these within 24 hours, all of them. Just so everything I wanted, everything I needed. Essentially it's like, oh, high schooler, but she's like really good at profiling, but she's special, you know, and she has a dark past. And so she's gonna be brought into this group, this like FBI group of like gifted and special kids who are like all really good, not kids, they're like 15. And they're all really good at solving crimes. And they all have like some sort of past that, you know, is crime related. Everyone, here's the announcement you've been waiting for. I finally finished all of Colleen Hoover's books, and you might be asking yourself, why? Would you put yourself through this? And I don't know. So I actually read a really early release and then the most recent release, which was actually written in 2016. We don't need to, you check out that blog. About this girl, her boyfriend is a drug trafficker and her brother is in a group home and so she needs the money, but apparently she can't find a part-time job. Apparently she has to like, whatever. And then an undercover agent enters the drug trafficking ring and falls in love with her, and then you all know where it goes. I read it in one sitting. Was it great? Yes. Anyway, the other book was Hopeless. I felt hopeless reading this. It is 700 pages too long. It's only 400 pages, if that tells you anything. High school girl, not like other girls. She meets a bad boy and they learn some dark secret about her past and cry together and end up together and decide that they're gonna screw the world and each other. Now that I finished all of those, coming up sometime within the next 4 to 8 months will be a breakdown on a statistics level of Colleen Hoover, because I think she gets a lot of hate and I think she gets a lot of praise, and I think it's somewhere in the middle, and I just kind of wanted to analyze like her, like on a sentence level and on like a plot and genre and character kind of level, like why does it work, why do people like it, what can we learn from it kind of video, not like a rant video, like an actual in-depth pie chart kind of video. Then I read The Bridge Kingdom, and what is the second book of that called? I don't know, but I read those 2 books. Oh, it's still up there. I read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I loved it theoretically, you know? Then I read this middle grade fantasy from, I think, like 2012 or something. If I had picked this up at 12 years old, I would have been obsessed. I would have been posters on my wall obsessed. It had very strong plotting, very strong characters, middle grade fantasy. Like if you're looking for just something super like, yes, you know? So that's that. And then I listened to the first 4 books of the Veronica Speedwell series. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I am not a historical fiction girl. I am not, if they're wearing like a petticoat, I'm like, historical settings. I actually will probably read more of them now, but it is so well written. It's essentially this woman in the 1800s who's just like, she's a lepidopterist, I don't know. A lepidopterist. I only listen to it in British, so I don't know. And she studies, she's like a natural historian studying. She's finally off on her own for the first time after her aunts die. She'd been orphaned as a child, you know, all the things. Somebody like tries to kidnap her and she's like, girl, I don't think so, whatever. And then some mysterious old guy shows up and is like, hey, I'm here to, you know, like, let's get out of here. I gotta protect you. And she's like, what do you protect? Like, why are you protecting me? I'm just some random butterfly study girl, you know? He takes her to this taxidermist named Stoker, who is everything. Then this old guy who like came and was like, then they became friends, he gets murdered. This is very on the back of cover kind of thing. And so then her and this like taxidermist who's like very burly and like doesn't want to make connections, like shut out from the world, like he's got a past, he's got tattoos, you know? They have to like try to solve this crime. And so each book is like a contained mystery and it is the slowest burn and every sentence is so good. Like the sentences inspired me. Like I was listening to it and I would listen to it on double speed and finish like a book a day. It was so, the underlying like series arc is tied in with the regular arcs of the books. Like, it was just so good. YouTube. So I posted, I think 6 videos this month, which is good. That's kind of like, I for sure want to post 4. Any like random Thursday videos are great. Like I try to get in on as many as I can. It's one of those things I'm like, I'm only committing to the once a week on Sundays, but I'd love to be able to do more content. I feel like I've grown. I've had an interesting YouTube moment here. I started my channel in, I think like the beginning of February, if I'm remembering correctly. I would say it had pretty regular growth for like an AuthorTube channel. And then I had a video in March that like blew up crazy time. It was about, I like used ChatGPT to like, I had a short story competition against ChatGPT. So we both had the same prompts and then we both wrote a story, you know? And that one kind of blew up for like my scale. So it's like at 7,000, I think right now views. And I went up a lot of subscribers there. So if you are from that video, thank you for sticking around. I know it's not really what you were expecting, but and I didn't have very much out at that point, and so I got a lot of subscribers, and then it was like, I would post a video and I would go down more than I would go up because I think people like subscribed thinking that that was the kind of content that I do, and now like, since then, all this stuff that's happened with AI, I'm like, I'm kind of like not loving, like fully not loving or supporting AI. It's really scary and taking a lot of people's jobs and money, so I don't really support that. Then I steadily grew, but it was like I would gain a subscriber, lose a subscriber, gain a subscriber, lose a subscriber, you know, like it was very kind of stepping stone, which is fine. Like I'm really not doing it for that. I mean, it's easy to say that, but also like I want to grow. Like I feel like that's supernatural. It's not like I'm just doing it for the subscribers. I would like to build the community. And so, you know, the more people that I can watch, the more people who watch me, like we can just build, just connecting with more people, just connecting, you know? But now I feel like I'm back on a pattern of just like consistent, regular thing. I don't know. There's a lot of planning. But another thing I did with YouTube was I created a Notion where I can organize like my content better for me personally. So people, thank you for joining. If you're not already subscribed, like frankly, what are you doing? I'd love to have you along. It just like shows YouTube like, hey, somebody else might like this chick, you know? But yeah, and I feel like I've also had a lot of more engagement this month. Like people have, like I've been getting into conversations in the comments and getting feedback from people. And like, that is really what I've been striving to get towards. And I've been trying to get better about responding to comments. So Comment down below to test me, to keep me accountable, make sure I respond to comments. You know. For YouTube, I've been watching Lindsay Puckett. Lindsay. I was feeling so down. And I really don't like to watch people's like, I got a literary agent videos because it stresses me out. And like, that's like the one that of hers that had kept popping up for me. And I was like, I don't want to watch that. I'm like, I'm happy for you, but I don't know if I want to. And and then I looked at, I found she did this, it was like 2 years ago. So I don't know why I'm promoting of her, like she vlogged the entire process of getting a literary agent. It was like a part 1, part 2 kind of video that spanned like 2 years and all these rejections. And then it had this whole hopeful, like, oh my gosh, I watched that and I was like crying. Like I have felt the way that she's describing and like I just resonated with that so much. And now I've just been watching all of them. So, and I mean, I watch a lot of author tubes. So like if you're an author tuber, I probably watched it. I just like put it on to immerse myself in writing so that I can like motivate myself to write, you know? Oh, this dish that I made, I really loved. And it lasted me a while. It was like a chicken, you know, back in the COVID days, you know, back in the OG COVID days in like March of 2020 when everyone was doing that like feta pasta moment. So it's similar. You put a block of feta in the middle of a large oven dish and then you put just like seasoned raw chicken breasts cut up a little bit and then like any veggies. I did like tomatoes and broccoli and then you like bake that at 400 degrees for 30 minutes, you know, and then you make some like rice or quinoa or couscous, some sort of like grain. You could do pasta, I guess. I feel like pasta would kind of weigh it down a little bit. So I did like a rice quinoa blend and then it makes a huge amount and then I can freeze it and eat it. And that has been my favorite dish of the month. I've been really trying to get into routine this month, which I think is every month of my entire life. So I don't know if that's really an update, but I have been consistently going to the gym and buying groceries. Thank you. Thank you. And just like clearly I've just been reading and writing like a school child. I've also, okay, let's do a chess update because I am like at 690, you guys. I am one good game away from 700 ELO on chess.com. I feel like a Victorian school child. I'm reading, I'm writing, I'm playing chess. That's all I'm doing. I don't know what else to say. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. Drop your favorite like author tube channels, what you've been loving, what you've been doing, what you've been writing and reading. Drop it all. And I am going to challenge myself to reply to every single comment. So test me. Make it difficult. Let's go. Thank you, everyone.